Okay, yeah, so there's a 4.5 minutes delay, so whenever I'm reading the chat, if you're responding to something I said, I will be out of touch, or with a heavy delay, it's going to be hard to maintain, a proper conversation. So I'm going to keep an eye on the operator bans. For example, here we have a Nomad as a ban. But I will also try to just see what the chat said. Haven't heard that. So, respond to Apache. Apache had said something. Hungarian just video. Okay, so that was the play on word on the name of the country. I don't know of any Hungarian-inspired places on my side of the U.S. American, we don't know what healthcare is. I hear it's nice. I hear it's pretty good. It's pretty good, actually. Like, if I was to kind of lean into the say stereotypes for U.S. Canada. So obviously Canada does have a national healthcare system. And so, the stereotype is like Canadians are super nice and that kind of stuff. So if we ever get like insulted, I can just go and have my feelings checked for free if that hurts emotionally. All joking aside though, so Consulate, with the bans being quite interesting. So Nomads being banned kind of indicates that the defenders want to be able to roam in peace. Thatcher being banned, Thatcher's like a really good operator for a few key reasons. First of all, unlike IQ or Twitch, he can just blindly throw the EMP grenades and disable so many gadgets. For example, cameras, Jaeger's gadgets, Bandits gadgets, all of the trap-based operators except Frost. So he's a blind, and I do mean blind because you don't have to aim, you don't really have to know where the gadget's going to be. But you can still so easily shut down so many playstyles on the defender's side that getting rid of Thatcher is like a must at this point if you want to have a balanced game, which I do find quite unfortunate because this kind of removes the say the freedom from the players to ban whoever they want. So if you go something like, oh, that one strategy really does hinge on the absence of, let's say, Blackbeard. Well, you cannot really ban Blackbeard because you're already forced into banning Thatcher to have a balanced game in the first place. Same would ring true for the defense. For example, Echo and Mira would be considered as being like absolutely OP, and they're being banned most of the time. This round, or this game, however, it's not going to be the case. Both bans that we have are going to be Intel-based operators for sure. But it's going to be quite interesting. So, Valkyrie, I totally do understand why. Outside cameras are always a good thing. For example, here there's a garage wall. So, you might expect the attackers to hang around outside for longer, than if you were, for example, in Oregon, right? Oregon, or a few different maps where being outside doesn't provide too much value. Top floor, rappelling upstairs can be really important, that kind of stuff. Plus, with the palm trees, it's really easy to add one of those Valkyrie Black Eye cameras, which is why taking her off the board can be really interesting and important. And then Maestro, he is Intel denial, or plan denial operator, should I say, kind of like Echo, but with the added benefit of having the Alda, this heavy-hitting gun, the LMG with the large mag. It's really a godsend. So you do know why the defenders, or the attackers rather, don't want to be seeing him on the field. But with that being said, I kind of barely just caught up to the operator bans themselves. So looking into the preparation phase itself, defense going to be down there, but with a heavy emphasis on roaming, because after all, if you had no roamers, that would just leave the latitude to Whitehounds to take the positions they want and to squeeze the objective from whichever side they decide to do so. Whereas by keeping the pressure on the attackers as soon as possible, this is going to force them on their heels, and they're not going to be able to kind of just think about attacking the opponents, the objective itself. Is there any prizes? Unfortunately, not King Agora. Everything is just done for fun. There is a proper season. So my format is somewhat similar to the ESL's Go 4. Not because I intentionally copied them. It's just like came to be like that. The idea is there is a proper quote-unquote season, right? So by going up into the finals, the players will win points, and if you win enough points at the end of the season, you're invited to the playoffs. So there is a reward in that sense, but if you're talking about cash prize or even just say any kind of goodies as a reward, nothing like that. That's why I fear more of the people with knives in the street under the coronavirus NAO. He says Texas is close to the square footage of like 34 EU countries, if I remember correctly. Yeah, like there's so much free space. The American continent is like really large, and it only hosts 3 countries. So each of these 3 countries are going to be absolutely huge and with lots of empty space. That's the kind of stuff that you can end up seeing. So diffuser's being planted, but that's not going to matter because Bailey's getting the double kill. So saying, oh, the defenders have to shut down the planted diffuser. Failing that, they have to get the kills and then destroy the diffuser. Not going to happen. And they were lined up, so I don't even think this was voluntary. But still, poor positioning on the defender's parts, and Legio are going to pay for that. So let's just jump right into the replays. However, for whoever asked if there was a prize, King Agora, the NA equivalent, or this NA sister say competition to this one, basically the same thing, but with a cash prize at the end of the season, does, like I said, have a cash prize. The point being, I'm at a point with my org, with everything, where I do have enough financing for a cash prize, for a prize pool, but not 2 of them. So next season, hopefully, though I'm not sure if I'm there yet. With that being said, so last round we went garage. It kind of failed. After all, Whitehounds were able to win. So Legio will try the same thing again. And hopefully for them, if you're a fan of Legio, or if you're a supporter of Whitehounds, let's hope not, that whatever didn't work in Legio's defense is going to get patched up, and it's going to get, improved upon. The advantage of surprise has been lost. Both teams kind of made first contact with each other. Now both teams know what to expect. And since by default, Whitehounds seem to have a playstyle that was a natural counter to Legio's, well, Legio do stand to have the most to win from, learning about your opponents. That being said, looking at the initial spawn points, it kind of gives an idea of how the attackers want to insert themselves into the building. Anti-roaming is going to be a big part of that round, to be sure. Like, you do see the drones in here, and I'm not sure if they have yet to spot those 2 defenders here. So Mightford by Tellers, there are a few wallbangs or pre-fires that wouldn't indicate their positions are known. So Mightford will be holding a tight angle, and Mosky with that rotation hole is able to... Will he do the run out? He's gonna try, but no, that's not gonna be an angle that he can get a kill on. So he now knows, I believe it's Bailey's, yeah, Bailey, Zofia's silhouette there has been spotted. Now Bailey also knows he has been receiving pressure. He's holding the angle like a hawk, but that's not going to be enough. Mosky getting the kill, though not without receiving great damage done to his person in return. Nitros is going to be tossed, and that's going to be, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, Xanga. It's probably, in Hungarish, it's probably easier to pronounce. But there you go. That's going to be Buck. And Hungarian. In Hungarian, it's going to be easier to pronounce. Yeah, there you go. English isn't my first language. But that being said, Buck has been put in a dump on that stage. No way of knowing he was laying down on his back, so he has not been finished off. Except right now, Mightford finally got the kill, and now since the initial insertion by Whitehound seems to be more or less of a failure, like no defenders are down as of yet. Well, times are getting somewhat desperate. Mightford has dropped down through the hatch, and that's going to lead him to preventing Capital from coming down the stairs, but that's not going to matter since he gets himself taken clean off. So now a 2v4 situation. The defenders definitely do have the upper hand, manpower-wise. However, with over a minute remaining on the clock, Whitehounds still have a lot of time to drone out, reposition themselves, or generally speaking, think of what their next move is going to be and put that into action. They're not forced into a desperate last-second rush, and that can end up, being a great benefit to them. However, we're going to be seeing Sen getting a kill, but would be refragged immediately by, I'm just going to call you Crit. Crit is getting the kill, and now his position is known, however. He is Jackal, so, he can take the intel on the positioning of 1 or 2 of his opponents, and as such, shouldn't be outflanked or that kind of stuff. But big picture, he's still in a 1v3 situation, 1 bullet worth of health, so he's basically in an insta-kill situation. And there you go. Pulse kind of knew exactly where and when Crit was going to jump down, and as such, Mosky was there ready for him. That's going to be another run for Legio. Well, the first round one for Legio, rather. So, if I was to just loop around what I was saying at the beginning of the round, Legio kind of had to improve or adapt upon what they did previously, because on the first round that didn't pan out too well for them. Well, they absolutely did. And as such, the scoreline is now 1-1. And no team is currently leading. Patchy, single file, please, thank you. That's exactly what you saw. That's the most beautiful Jackal play I've seen. Okay, so saying, yeah, it's not our strongest map, fun fact. Oh no, wasted C4. I'm missing coastline. That's your fault. Okay, that's why he said that's not our strongest map. Yeah, once again, whenever I'm responding or reacting to the chats, there's gonna be heavy delay on both sides. So it's not gonna be easy to, you know, hold a proper conversation between the chat and I. Nonetheless, after winning Garage, obviously Legio had to go somewhere else, and well, we're still seeing the replays. My bad, I sometimes forget about that, and we don't want to be seeing those for a whole round. They're fun, but not for too long. So, after winning Garage, they had to go somewhere else, and they weren't gonna go, say, main entrance or press room, aka piano, right? So, without any surprises, we're gonna be seeing a console defense. And for console here, oh, we even have replays. Yeah, we do. So, console, what's going to be a console defense looking like? So, this hatch here has been opened up. A few reinforcements here and there. But so, it would kind of indicate that maybe Legio wants to actually hold the admin region. But no, they're not going to do that. Am I an ESL caster? Yeah, I'm a ESL community caster, so I don't do anything like Pro League or Challenger League. But I am in a way affiliated with ESL, absolutely. So that means I can cast any and all Go 4s I want. So if you or your team are participating in the Go 4s, just hit me up and I might end up casting you. With that being said, Athelete here is in a bit of a tough spot. So on his right, on his left, there's a window on both sides, one in the stairs, one in the bathroom. And the thing is, that rotation should have been cut off by, I believe it was that was Thermite's gun that I heard there. So Thermite, Pitak kind of missed a few shots, and you know, getting Echo off the board this early in the round could have been paying, you know, massive amounts of dividends later on, because Echo is really good to deny the plant of the diffuser. So if you can take up that gadget, well, it's gonna help you push on the OBJ so much more. But with that being said, no kill has happened, so it's just gonna be, you know, speculation at this point. And Bailey here at the window, kind of holding the side angle. I believe that bullet kind of hit, or I heard the sound cue of indicating a bullet impacting. But nobody seems to have taken any amount of damage, and his position is now definitely nice one tap. Bailey getting Miteford out of the board. But we still do have Athelete here, who would be in a position to get the refrag should Bailey want to repel in. However, Athelete is receiving so much pressure, didn't have time to swap into his perspective before he fell down. Nonetheless, he is now taken off the board, and it's a 3v4 situation. But looking at the current positioning, the attackers are definitely poised to come into the objective. There was a run out by, I believe, Mosky. Yeah, there you go, Mosky, who got the kill on somebody repelling. Pitak, I believe, who was the bearer of the diffuser as well. That's going to force a rotation on... Oh, and that match was a bit explodes. It gets the kill. There we go. Nicely done. Could have been shot out mid-air, but Bailey is currently planting. So is Firstfall going to be able to cover his opponent, his ally? No, he didn't. That doesn't matter. The diffuser was still planted, but there you go. Zofia is now dead, and Paris is not in a position to... Parsi, sorry, is not in a position to prevent the diffuser from being destroyed, so he'll be put down. Mosky probably getting a kill, but that does not really matter, since as we speak, diffuser has actually been destroyed. And there you go. Xen did not really need to engage in the firefight. He just went straight for the diffuser, because, you know, at the end of the day, that other kill in the yellow stairs, was it the attacker or the defender that ended up getting the kill, would not have mattered too much, because the diffuser was still being destroyed, and that was like the one big thing distracting. I believe it was Parsi. Yeah, Parsi was being distracted, and as such, he was not at liberty of actually challenging Xen, who was the one that destroyed the diffuser. Xen's natural assault right there should have been destroyed mid-air. Like, this is the grand final. The players are, you know, high level or of a high skill level, and I do believe whoever was there, I think it was Jackal. Jackal probably could have destroyed that natural assault mid-air. Pars should have gone for the natural as well. That could have saved his life. At the end of the day, it's still a big challenge to shoot out the such a small C4 mid-air before it actually detonates. But when you can do it, it kind of changes everything. Like right here, it really would have changed everything. It's so funny why people with different native languages try pronouncing Hungarian. Yeah, yeah. Like, you could say this for just about any language. Like, let's just take English for example, because it's, you know, the worldwide's second language. So you do hear on the internet like many different nationalities speaking English, and you know, say people in Asia, in South America, in Europe, or you know, even I myself, French Canadian, will speak English, will pronounce the same words with a massively different accents. Could you spell out how to pronounce Bucks' name in English, or does his name really not work that way? I was thinking Xizang. Yeah, the Z in the middle of the word is Xizanga. I can say Xizanga if I was to read it out in the English way, but I have no clue how you would pronounce that, because I don't know what the Hungarian pronunciation looks like, and that's the thing. I couldn't even try for the life of me. Well, I can try, but I certainly won't succeed. So defense was a success for Legio, so now they have no choice but to go into the press room and the main lobby. But like, you know, like all of you know, I'm in the chat, and there you go. C is like an S. Sianga. Okay, Sianga. And there we go, Bailey getting a kill. Defending the main lobby is played by verticality. This is why Bailey was put down by Mightbert, because Mightbert got a nice kill on Athelete, which was really important, to be honest, because the thing is, that was Echo taken off the board. However, well, the refrag immediately, because Mightbert was still undetected when Bailey wanted to get in, and then Mightbert, sorry, was able to get a second kill, and now maybe even a third, but that's just not gonna happen, as we can see. Parsifal, not Parsifal, Crits is gonna take Mightbert out of the board, out of the picture. Now a 2v3 situation. Things are still looking, you know, pretty even, if I was to be honest. Thing is, even though the attackers, Whitehounds, have the numerical advantage, health pool-wise, it's looking pretty similar. Plus, TixJ has the control of the objective and the diffuser. So with a few key or well-placed toxic babes, he can shut down pretty much everything. Mosky getting a kill at the soft floor as well. That's going to be a massive kill at the same time. There goes Sangzak being able to take, I believe it was TixJ out of the board. Diffuser's now getting planted. Crits, obviously using the track stinger to prevent any and all funny rotations from happening. But there you go. Mosky is not capable of finding the exact angle he's looking for. He's going to try, though. Try as he might. He sees it right there, but his leg was poking out, and that's going to lead him to losing a bit of damage, bit of health. Nothing too massive, but in the meantime, the diffuser's been planted, and that's like the big thing. This is definitely a rotation or a line of sight that was created. He did not intend to get the kill with that Nitro Cell. On the right side, on hard right, nobody was there. He was kind of expecting somebody to be at that location. And he's running out of options here. He has to drop down or has to go for, you know, the kill. He has to go for the face-to-face firefight. He sees his opponents right there. Might he get the kill? He will not. But even if he ended up getting a kill on the crits, that would not have mattered too much, because there was still a second defender or attacker with a defense-sided role at this point outside repelling. And as such, the amount of time that Whitehounds were able to make basically Legio waste was too great for the defenders to be able to win that out, no matter what they did at this point. You can cast my casual runs if you want. It's very hardcore gameplay. I can. C is more like the t's in English. Okay, it's Tsanga. Okay, I'll say it. Thank you. Well, there you go. Learning new things. How to pronounce letters in Hungarian. So this was main lobby, and it totally failed. With that being said, since now Legio, well, it's been 2 rounds since they won in Garage. I would expect them to go there again, and you know, underneath or behind the replays, surprise, they're going there. So right here, Mosky tried his best, but he just took too much time to look, you know, hard right. He believed somebody was there. He ended up, you know, peeking a dead or an empty angle, and that led to him losing too much time. That was his mistake, to be honest, but you can't really blame him, because he had no solid intel or solid, you know, knowledge of where his opponents were going to be.
I got the door.
And at this point, the problem kind of was, without knowing where your opponents are going to be, what can you do? You can go off of instinct and basically dumb luck. There are only so many places where Whitehounds were able to hide behind, but still, with 2 or 3 different attempts, he only has 1 life, and the attackers only had to, you know, look out for 1 doorway, which led to this being so an unfair situation. It was so unbalanced, there was nothing he could do. So cycling real quick through the defenders, TXJ seems to be content on staying on OBJ. He is smoke after all. Athelete, more or less the same thing. Where is his body? So he's in the drone right now, but he will be right there. Okay. Mosky, however, will be roaming for sure. Might work as well. And Xen will be remaining on OBJ. Apparently he'll be needed as a point man to, you know, receive the pressure since, I don't know, there was no Thatcher in play. Thatcher's been banned after all. Parzival getting the first kill, so I'm not sure how exactly that garage door has been opened up so quickly. But yet we are, and Xen will be biting the dust really early on. Crits also taking a large amount of damage. You know, nothing too dramatic, but not a insignificant amount either. So Mosky is kind of shutting down this kind of insertion point as a whole, forcing crits to repel up, and there we go. Buck, who wanted to go for piano room, is gonna be put down. Mightford actually getting a double kill, and with somebody hot on his heels, that's gonna be Bailey, who does not want to run up the stairs. He kind of seems to hesitate here. Eventually he'll decide against it, and now this is looking pretty good for Legio. 2v4 situation. And they still have a, you know, a really good control of the objective itself. Plus, they have roamers that are still going really strong. So Bailey cannot really just look at the breaches in the floor because, you know, his back is going to be vulnerable. You cannot either just run into a free objective because you still do have defenders here. The remaining defenders are not all roamers. That kind of stuff. Plus, considering there's an echo in the room, it's not going to be easy for either the attackers. Bailey kind of, you know, chasing ghosts, doesn't know where the roamers are going to be. He's going to be bested by Mosky in the meantime. Petak now finds himself in a 1v4 situation. And if he goes for the blind face-to-face firefight, he might even make it into the garage. Might get 1 or 2 kills. But the verticality is bound to get the better of him. Mosky was right here. Petak seems to be really cautious. And there you go. The thing is, it's Sipples. He's going to see you coming, and he's going to be watching the angle like a hawk. Mosky winning Legio's third round at this point. This was round number 5. And what I do like to see is that both teams seem to be on an equal footing. Nobody's is able to flat out, you know, beat out the opponent. Nobody's just dominating the other team, and as such, this proves, or this is bound to be a close game. And we do love these close games because it keeps us on the edge of our seat. We don't know how it's going to end. We don't know what it's going to look like, and that's just the best thing ever. So there seems to be, I would assume this is Hungarian in the chat. I have no idea what you guys are saying, but good on you. Gotta go now. Go WHE. Whitehounds, they're looking to be honest, pretty strong. The thing is, this map is fairly defense-sided, right? So the 4-2 scoreline would be an indication of having, you know, basically fair teams. And thing is, we're not yet at the halftime mark, and Whitehounds have already won their 2 rounds. So if they're able to win like this next round, which they have not yet, they yet have to win a single constant round. You know, so the point still stands. It would be a good indication for them.
10 seconds remaining.
With that being said, the defense here is going to be really strong again. Tyler, once again, that echo can be so detrimental, but we have yet to see a single round going into the late stages. You know, within 15 seconds of the round, nothing has been so close so far. Oh, and opening up the top of that wall is going to be good for the other yokai drone. If Tyler was just to take that drone's POV, we could see real quick. He's not going to do it because the drone is like right at the junction, right outside, like right underneath, or right by the pillar. You can see it shimmering if you have a big enough display. On the phone, you might not see it. So it's going to be seeing both long desk, the main corridor, and the meeting room area, which does give it a large line of sight. Tyler, however, once again, that rotation was supposed to be cut off. It kind of was, but once again, I'm not sure who was there. Parzival, I would assume, since there's a bit of fire. Parzival was not able to get the kill. Tyler will be lit, will be injured. No doc there, so that's something. But still, the kill was next to guaranteed. Unfortunately, that's on Parzival's fault. That's on Parzival's shoulders, should I say. However, you know, nothing is yet lost. With 2 minutes remaining, you still have a lot of time to do whatever you want. Bailey is really cautious about a run out. But that's going to be partial by getting a first kill, first blood on Mightbird. Mightbird, who was an extremely aggressive roamer historically, he's really good at getting these double kills when attackers don't really expect him to. So taking him off the board is really good. And if I was to look at it this way, like real quick, right now, what's preventing Pitak from repelling in? To be honest, first of all, the drone, second of all, 6J. 6J, however, is behind a reinforced wall. Yeah, sure. But if you were just to open up either from bathroom, the line of sight, or from that window right here, he is now occupied, he's now distracted, and Pitak is absolutely going to use the distraction to his advantage. He's currently planting. The defenders are slowly but surely dying. Percival and another attacker, I failed to see who it was, get the kill, but the yokai drone's still there. There we go. 6J is going to fall down at the same time. And so Athelete now no longer has the luxury of using his drones. His, person is going to be at a great risk. So he now finds himself in a 1v4 situation. He can do this, to be honest, but it's not going to be easy. His position does not seem to be known, so that's a good advantage for him. He has the ACOG, but there's just too many lines of sight to check. And there we go. Whitehounds winning round 6. It was fairly easy at some point, because even though they didn't know for sure what he was going to be, as soon as you see any shimmer or anything move in that, punch on the wall, they were going to fire at it. So there we go. Like I said, 4-2 would be an indication of an even scoreline. Once again, we're not going to be seeing the replays because I missed too many kills there. But a 4-2 scoreline would have been the indication of having, an even split. This time with a 3-3 scoreline, I might be tempted to win to say Whitehounds are at odds of winning. Nothing is set in stone. Legio might just have, the same, say, ease of attacking as Whitehounds did. But if I was to go by the inherent characteristics of this map, that's what I would be tempted to say.
Attackers need to locate and defuse
However,
the bomb.
let's see what Whitehounds are bringing to the table. I kind of feel like I'm repeating myself, but whenever there's a role swap happening, I kind of like to take a look at what's going to be new. Like, is there a certain operator that either team likes to bring to the table that the other didn't? That would, breathe a puff of fresh air into the composition and thus the meta, the game plan, the game as a whole. On the defense, I wouldn't be seeing too much, innovation. Like, every single one of these operators has been picked in the past by Legio when they themselves were defending, I believe. On the offense, though, I don't think we've seen an IQ, and I don't think we've have seen an Ash. We might have. So it kind of seems to me like we're going a bit more frag heavy here. Like, there's not too much utility per se. Thermite, of course, like he's gonna be there to open up the reinforced wall. Buck can't play verticality, but other than that, like Zofia, Ash, and IQ, they're pretty, frag heavy operators. IQ, yeah, sure, she can see the gadgets and be like a counter utility based operator. But it's nothing too fancy, nothing too wild like a Ying or a Dokkaebi. So, which, just brings it back to the thing that, what I was saying, this looks to me like it's going to be more or less of a frag-heavy meta here coming from Legio. And this is apparently the default sights for the P10 Roni. And Crits seems to have been spotted early on. Like, we can see Mosky here repelling. He's never gonna get the line of sight on Crits, but Crits' position is still known, and he can cut off any and all rotations by keeping this line of sight. So Crits kind of has one or two choices. Either he can just sit there, peek and attempt to kill Mosky, or blindly flee. His easy way out would be to drop down the hatch, but there we go. He's not gonna do this. He's gonna hold the line, and he's gonna get the kill. And Mosky cannot just blindly repel in and attempt to get the kill. That would be a death sentence. So far it's looking really good for the roaming game. Whitehounds are still, masters in the building as a whole, to be honest. Mosky could repel in right now, but he doesn't know this. He's going to have to drone. That's going to cost him a few seconds. But that's Xen, who was able to insert in the main lobby, has not been spotted until he gets a kill, and that's good. So, on his right side, nobody's going to be by the spiral staircase. And as such, no great danger is lurking on him, to be honest. Mosky has been able to repel in, so now he's going to have a greater mobility, and as such, he's going to be a greater threat to the defenders. 6J wants to drone, not going to be seeing too much, plus there's electricity on that wall. So, the exothermic charge is not going to detonate, I believe. Mosky so far seems to be undetected. And look at the defenders. Nobody's going to be in a position to directly challenge him. There is Mute. He's on his drones. Oh, no, he's not on the drones. Who is... What kind of angle is that? That's nice. That's actually beautiful, because the attackers are not going to be firing basically at the ceiling. He must be standing on the toilet itself or something. Yeah, he is. That's a strong angle if somebody was to peek him, but I don't think it's in the attackers' plans. Like, Legio, they're not considering the hatch too much, it seems like. But, oh, Xen is coming here, and he's not going to see where Xanga is. But Tsanga, even though he has a great positioning, he can do nothing against grenades. That's where Jaeger comes in. And Mosky getting the kill on crits. The attackers are now basically set to enter the objective. Like, Mute is not going to do much, so it all depends on Petak. Saga gets a frag though. Diffuser is now being planted, but he's not being covered. He is being covered. There we go. Nice kill. It's actually a trade now, a 1v1 situation. Diffuser has been planted. Tixi now holding the angle. Both players are still at 100% HP, so we cannot say that, you know, a shot is going to be the end of either of those players. And of course, TixJ is going to be taking a position outside to kind of use, first of all, the range of his gun. Second of all, play for time, and that's absolutely going to be paying dividends. Sanga had no choice but to take the bait. He ran out, and he was bested by 6J in a fairly, you know, effortless fashion, it seems like it. So, that round was somewhat close, was somewhat tense, but Legio were able to win it nonetheless, and at the end of the day, it's all that matters. Like you say, Apache, at the roll swap, when you wrote that, it was looking pretty good for them. Thing is, right now, Legio, they're winning their offensive rounds just like Whitehounds did. So, might that be kind of inverting the prediction? Maybe. It's still too early to say, to be honest. Like, just like Whitehounds won their first attack, you might argue because they didn't know what kind of defense Legio were putting up. Same thing here. Legio won the first attack because Whitehounds didn't really know what they're going up against. But the advantage of surprise would now be lost. Reloading! Okay. For the 8th round, after suffering a defeat, of course, Whitehounds are going to go garage again. Yeah, attack is much harder in this map due to having to base attack on a lot of your ops on the defense team. Exactly. Like, the utility the defenders are going to bring to the table is going to have such a big impact on what the attackers can and cannot do. IQ is almost a must when they have a Valk on this map, and Nomad's literally a must against any aggressive team. Exactly. So that's kind of exactly the point you're making. As an attacker, you can hardly predict what you're going to go up against, and you can hardly predict what operators are going to be, you know, pertinent to have and which ones are not that important. But which brings to the point once again, now that both teams kind of know who's playing who, Whitehouse are going to be in a better position to counter the attackers' picks, basically. There is a pest right here that TixJ absolutely does know about, but that kind of implies that Mods is going to be at the top floor. He exactly is. Mosky is going to be receiving a nasty bullet to the head. Sanga being the uncontested roamer at this point, but that's due to change pretty quickly. The uncontested part, not exactly the alive and roaming operator, because there we go. Ash was kind of going for the kill. He is going to be pulling back a little, trading, you know, area control surface for time. He's now in the yellow staircase, and Ash does not seem to know he's right there. But don't drop down too early. There you go. A nice kill by the attackers, bringing this back to a 4v4 situation. However, I don't believe Sanga's position is known. So, you know, Ash was going for a rotation. Seems to be interested in going down a level because there's still, you know, 2 floors above the objective. But if Ash was to go downstairs by using the yellow stairs, that could have been the end of her. Other than that, you still have Parsifal roaming, and his position does seem to be known because, yeah, that silhouette was creeping up too slowly for it to be a coincidence or anything. Mightvert kind of working on his intel. Don't know where it came from, who fed it to him, but the point still stands. He got the kill. Now, Legio are in a good position right now. They do have the numerical advantage with the Romas being out of play. Buck, you know, can open up the wall or the floor as much as he wants. He is expecting the run up, and he is going to get the kill. In the meantime, the main wall has been opened up by Thermite at the same time. So, thing is, what are you going to do now? Looking at the defenders, nothing indicates that they're ready to counter a you know, garage push. Pitak probably has a drone there, so yeah, he might be delaying a plant at most. Smoke also can play for time, but that's not going to be enough. Bailey now in a 1v4 situation, and there's just too many angles for him to watch, and too many attackers that can funnel in from different sides at once. If Legio is coordinated enough, there would be nothing Bailey can do. For example, here, diffuser is being planted. He didn't know. And front on his left side, that's what I was talking about. Too many different angles. And Xen ending up getting the kill on Bailey. Legio planted the diffuser at the same time. They were just overwhelming. Poor smoke. And that's how you win a round. The sheer amount of teamwork is insanely refreshing. I gotta say, it is totally different from, say, a ranked or, you know, even casual meta. For what it's worth, this is a European game too. So, different regions do have different metas to some extent. Like the APAC region plays vastly different than the LATAM regions. I'd say NA and EU are somewhat similar. But still, it is a factor. So this is something that might be a bit surprising and new to both you and I, when talking directly to Apache, or to whoever is watching from the North American continent as a whole. And yeah, and the same thing is going to stand true if the Europeans watch the NA comps that we're going to have later tonight. You know, at a reasonable time for the NA players, basically. The EU players might be thinking, what are they doing? This is not how I would expect players to run things. But, you know, that's just the differences in meta. After 2 defenses lost in Garage, Whitehounds kind of seem to be admitting defeat. Because they lost... Oh, Mosky leaving the game. Well, let's hope he joins back in, because a rehost at this point would take a bit of time. But yeah, the thing is... Whitehounds, they went in their primary bomb site twice. They failed there twice, and them going elsewhere kind of seems like an initial defeat. Okay, so if we cannot win there, let's just admit they're better than us on Garage. Let's try something else instead. That's the kind of scary thing, you know? But let's see. The one thing I do want to point out is Pulse is playing shotgun. And as such, Parzival will have to be extra careful of his positioning and of his actions, basically. Because if he's caught in the open, he's done for. He's dead. That's going to be putting, you know, an extra kind of pressure on his mental state. With that being said, let's look at the attackers. Athelete and company, you know, Miteford here in the general area, are pushing from the main from the open space, or offices, should I say, rather. But there's too many Xangas jammers all around the map to prevent the attackers from taking, you know, a proper picture of what the game or what the map kind of looks like. And here XJ is basically biting, you know, taking the bait. Because the thing is, he's using his thermite charges to open up walls, purely to create line of sights, not exactly to enter in the objective itself, which in turn means you can no longer open up reinforced walls on OBJ and kind of funnel in through there, which is going to make their next movement so much more predictable. They have no choice but to use either the doors or the soft walls, which kind of limits their movements. The good news is Mosky kind of joined back in, so no rehost is going to be necessary, I think. The players are still entitled to a rehost per map per team, so they can ask one for whichever reason, no questions asked, but you know, reason dictates you're going to keep it for when a player loses the connection. With that being said, this meta is looking really passive right now. There's only a minute remaining, nobody's dead. Miteford has taken a lot of damage though, so this is something major to consider. And Crit here in this Spiral Staircase gets a first kill, but that was not the only attacker that was in the general area. Tossing a grenade right here is gonna put Sanga down, but Ash is getting taken off the board at the same time. Can Paytak revive his teammate from there? Apparently not, and he's gonna be finished off by TixJ. So it's now a 2v4, I was gonna say, but not 2v3 situation. Xen kind of besting Critzermino here. And how does the control of Projector Room look? Bailey, with those smoke grenades, Toxic Babes, could have dealt massive damage. But the thing is, he's dead. So now we're kind of seeing a turn of situation. Paytak can't prevent somebody from entering here, but oh no, he just misses too many shots. 6J, even though he took a lot of damage, he's still alive. The first is being planted. Xen getting a nice kill. Percival through the ceiling, getting through the verticality, doing a nice job. Now a 1v1 situation. They know the last defender is at the bottom floor, and it's a pulse. He's gonna know where you are, but that doesn't matter if you are on the bench or on the desk actually. So he has no C4 left. He's gonna try as he might. That's not gonna work. I'm not sure if Xen took a bit of damage there, but he's gonna run out. This will be making a lot of noise, but apparently Parzival did not pick up on it. He seems to know. So the thing is now, what do you want to do? Are you going to try to run out and to get the kill? If you do, you're going to be losing a lot of time running back up the stairs. And if you don't, if you go for the baits, well, you're going to be playing off of timing, off of luck. He jumps down, but that does not work. And even if it did, he would have been critical in time. So, were we talking about this being a defense-sided map? What is happening here? It's like we were saying, well, Whitehounds are looking pretty good with the 3-3 scoreline for the role swap. But then we see Legio just winning 3 rounds in a row. No questions asked. What is happening? This is not a match point situation. And Whitehounds have yet to win their first round in defense. This is uncharacteristic for this map, to say the least. And at this point, outright, frightening if you're a Whitehounds fan. They kind of had no right to lose 3 rounds in a row in such a fashion. Thing is, I think Legio was simply out-fragging them, because tactically speaking, Whitehounds had great positioning, great map control. Like, they were leading 4-2. And then Legio kind of just went for the kills. I'm not exactly sure. Like, for example, here, Sen could have just stood there and waited for TXJ to plant. Could have just, held the angle. But he actively went for a peek and got the kills. That's the thing. Legio, they're just out-fragging their opponents. And I'm not sure if there's an easy answer to just a team that's this frag heavy, because if they're, gung-ho champions, if they have just better reflexes, better accuracy, better like game sense, that kind of stuff, what can you do? The best positioning in the world is going to help you, but it's not going to outright protect you against a turn, against a flick shot, that kind of stuff. So you kind of have to play the diffuser and kind of play for, say, for the objective. But then, how can you plant the diffuser if you're not in a position to flush out the defenders in the first place? All of those questions do need answers, because if not, well, Whitehounds, their backs against the wall, and it shows. They seem a bit less passive though, like actively peeking that window, for example. Something Pitak does not exactly have to do, since you still have Parsifal right here, so there would be no way for the attackers to, repel in. So I wouldn't say that they're getting anxious or scared. Like, they're still trying to get the kills, and they're not just admitting, okay, I cannot get the kill, so I'm gonna like cower in a corner, that kind of stuff. Extreme example of poor morale, that kind of stuff. So they're not letting their morale get the best of them, and as such, it shows. There you go, Sanga getting their first blood, Crits getting another kill really quickly. So that's looking really good for them, in the early stages of this round. This is possibly the last round. But the thing is, the situation was basically the same last round. Whitehounds were up 4-2, and Legio were able to come back. So, even though it's looking good, history has shown that just the situation, quote-unquote, looking good is not enough, and by far. So, TXJ is holding the angle right here, cutting off rotations, but rotations being cut off is only worth something if you're actually able to have a teammate that's going to force the other guy in a rotation. Sen with a knife, frag grenade, rather getting a nice kill on Sanga. 3v4 now. This disadvantage has, dwindling away slowly. Pitak getting a nice kill, kind of missed on that one. And there you go. Xen now trying to push from the copy room. He's going to be looking at long desk, and TXJ kind of looking at the projector room, and he sees that there is this one silhouette behind the bomb, but that's about it. TXJ getting the kill on Pitak. Now a 2v3 situation. With 1 minute remaining on the clock, the attackers will have to funnel in eventually, but they still have enough time to like one rotation. They can drone out once again, and I believe that's what TXJ was going for. Like, time is not critical, but he won't be allowed too many mistakes. You have to shut that down, that Nitro Sun mid-air. That doesn't work, but still, the desk is now totally open. He is no longer behind any sort of cover whatsoever. TXJ going for the long desk, or for the projector, rather. But his positioning seems to be known. He's gonna miss all of those shots, unfortunately. 33 seconds remaining. Sen also going for the rotation. It's gonna be a all or nothing situation. TXJ has no choice but to jump in and try as he might. He has to get those kills. If not, it's gonna be lost. Simply because he has the diffuser. So if the bear of the diffuser was to, get bested within 15 seconds of the end of the round, it'd be too much to ask for Xen to, just get everything back. Though he's gonna try it with a nice 1 kill, maybe a double, does not appear to be the case. And now we're gonna be seeing TXJ in a 1v2 situation, tries to get the kill. He gets the first. He's looking for the second one. That camera's gonna get the information on his position in real time. He tries to go for the rotation, but no, that's gonna be Goyo, played by Parsifal, doing that hiding to the very last second, then just peeking to prevent himself from being wallbanged from the yellow stairs area. That camera feeding intel was just a godsend, and there you go. Whitehounds are not out of the picture just yet. They will not relent until it is over. And it's not because the odds were not looking good for them that they're just gonna, you know, keel over and die, basically. Yeah, like Apache said about Whitehounds being in a good spot. Let's just Thanos snap that statement back where it came from. Thing is, that's kind of the caster's curse. We were talking about Whitehounds being in a good spot. It kind of flips around. Now we're talking about Whitehounds no longer being in that good of a spot, and they win the round. Like, I could not tell you for the life of me how it's gonna end. Granted, you know, Legio, they're still in a match point situation, so any and all mistakes coming from Whitehounds' side is going to prove fatal. But now, like I said, advantage of surprise is going to be lost. Whitehounds, they know what kind of play style Legio have on attack, and the defenders kind of have the upper hand inherently because they decide kind of what walls are going to be reinforced, what the map's going to look like in a broad sense, right? And the attackers kind of have to adapt and improvise according to what the defenders do. So, thing is, if Whitehound is able to set up something that Legio has no counter for, what are Legio going to do? Well, lose the round. It's simple as that. Another shotgun bullet might have opened that up, but there you go. If you knife or, you know, punch holes are gonna add up to destroying that. And there we go. Garage again. But the one worrying thing would be the simple fact that Whitehounds yet have to win a single garage defense. So if I was to look at it from the historical data's perspective, things are looking bleak for Whitehounds. But like I said, knowledge is power, and now you really do know what you're going up against. Are Legio going to be, you know, adapting or evolving their strategy a tiny bit? Probably. Like, seeing Ash and Thermite here going up against that electrified wall is something we don't see too often, and they seem to be waiting for either Tyle or Xen to be opening up the Electroclaw, or destroying the Electroclaw rather. Mosky just going there with the Kia 79. That angle was not being watched, and it's going to be proof fatal. He is going to die, but it does not matter. The damage has been dealt. And now Thermite is going to open up that wall, and he's aggressively inserting into the objective. Same for Miteford, who gets a double kill here. What is going on? There we go, however. Crit's getting a nice kill. Diffuser has been planted, though it's too late for that now. Miteford here in Cafeteria. He is holding, you know, a possible entryway for those defenders who have to come back on site. But he's going to be right here. He has the advantage of surprise. Nicely done. Tixia, however, in the drone, taking damage. Or is it just a... Yeah, it's just a POV bug, I assume. Crit's now in the 1v2 situation. Does not get the kill. Legio winning round 11. And as such, they're going to be crowned the grand champions of the game. Of the 5th week of this season. So I do want to say GG's to them. Once again, they have been in a Grand Final multiple times previously. They had yet to actually win said final, and it ended up happening right here and there. So there you go. They got the prize that they've been after for a few times now. And I do believe this was the 3rd time they were in finals, so let's just say 3rd time's the charm. So I kind of like to do an interview with the players, usually. But since they're not, you know, a team I'm in frequent contact with, simply since they're not really French and that kind of stuff, I don't have them added on Skype. So let's see if they have answered and that kind of stuff. I still not have Talcio as a friend on Discord, and due to privacy settings, let me just lower my privacy settings real quick. Where's it gonna be, by the way? It's gonna be in confidentiality. Or is it on my end that I had to add it?
Attackers have located. Time to ring some ears.
No, still not. Okay. Okay, now yeah. So he has to accept my friend request before I can send him a DM. So I sent him another friends request. So yeah, we're gonna have to wait for that. But in the meantime, so let's just take a look at the game in general. Whitehounds, they kind of did surprisingly well for the first half, and then everything went downhill. My question is how? Like Legio, they had a great offense, and the way they defended, once again, you could argue for the first half, Whitehounds kind of had the upper hand by virtue of it being a 3-3 scoreline by the time the role swap occurred. And as such, Legio would have appeared to be the lesser team, and then everything just turned around or got turned upside down, and I don't know how or why that happened.